What is going on? I'm zmoT. This is War Factory Day, so I am up earlier than normal with my cup of coffee to keep me company. Let's have a look, see what Gearhart's got for us, and see what we can do against her evil forces. So we've had this layout many times before. Typically, we come in here and hack these three rocket launchers, which gives us this nice little pocket in behind the core. I don't think that's a good idea today. So there is not enough damage nearby. These three rockets, I would be very surprised if they would go away. I mean, we could try to hack them, but I really don't feel like that's a good option. So for those of you who do not do well at smoky landings, I would suggest going right. I'm not going to be doing that, but if you go to the right, all you really need to do is focus on that Doom cannon, and then you can just rifle Zooka all the way around the back corner. Actually, you know what? We'll do that on a max level account, but for this account, we're going to come in with Zookas, and we're going to use Miss Everspark, and we're going to do all sorts of good stuff. So I'm going to throw Everspark in here. We're going to push the hack button, and I'm going to try to get all the way back into here using just two smokes. Should not need more than two smokes. Look how much, like, she's in the middle of that smoke, so we are all good there. And now I am not going to double hack. Double hacking is probably likely very much a bad idea right now. And that's because there's just not enough stuff around. So we need all the damage we can get on those shock launchers. And as you can see there, that timer is going deep into the timer. So had we have double hacked, I don't think we would. Actually, I can guarantee we wouldn't have got it. So definitely going for the single hacks required. So typically we hack this one. So hopefully I've gotten you guys to know that don't hack these because they don't have enough damage nearby. If you've already attacked and you made the mistake of hacking them, do let me know if it was a mistake. I kind of assume it was, but you never know. Maybe there's enough damage. Maybe those flotsams range just enough to get them down. Anyways, that is attack number one, all in the books. We're going to leave it at that. Now, I've got rifles loaded. Rifles are not going to be helpful. Um, Probably should be using all zookas here, but it's going to cost diamonds, so we'll just use rifles and see how that goes. Probably going to cost me more diamonds in the long run, but it is what it is. Now, we're just going to keep throwing GBE on these mortars back here. There's not a lot else to clear. The microwavers don't range far enough. Um, we're not going to have enough GBE to get rid of the rocket launchers. Look at that. Down go all of the mortars. Nice, clear, happy spot back there. Now, you know what? We'll give it a shot. Just because we're here, we're going to drop Everspark in here. We're going to push the hack button, and then we're going to flare this front rocket. That rocket might actually go away simply because there's three flotsams that should range it, plus a bunch of rockets and lasers. So we'll see how that goes. Everspark is going to distract things a little bit. So looks like maybe, just probably not though. So like I said, not going to be enough damage, and that's the one that's closest to those flotsams. So very likely that we can't get rid of them. I'll just damage them just because we got nothing else to use our gunboat energy on. But we're also going to drop some troops over here. If you have low level artillery, low level barrage, you can farm all sorts of stuff on that right hand side, which is going to allow you to get extra gunboat energy for those back mortars. I always recommend your barrage and artillery before you upgrade troops, just because it's going to do great things for you, and you can remove more defenses that way, which will make your attacks stronger. So that's two attacks. Probably should just go back and hit the core at this point, but I'm very curious to see if we can actually hack these things with some success. So I'm going to bring Everspark into here. Look at that perfect smoke. We're going to flare that back one just because why the heck not? Where Everspark was off to, I'm not entirely sure. She's going to... Oh, look at that. I was waiting for her to pop out. She never did. And then as soon as that smoke expires, we are going to throw a smoke on her to keep her alive. And also, by getting her behind the smoke, it means that she's less likely to distract defenses that are nearby. Her critters are going to distract things. So, see that? Not even close to enough damage to get that far rocket launcher, which is exactly why I was thinking don't do it. So we've got one flotsam popping onto that rocket launcher. Again, not enough damage though. So maybe you want to do that just to get some damage done so you can throw some GBE onto it and maybe get rid of it. Likely not a great maneuver though, because as you can see, we don't have enough GBE to get rid of that other rocket. So don't worry about clearing those rockets at shore. They're not going to do a heck of a lot of good for you, and they're actually going to be detrimental potentially. So next up, let's switch to Miss Brick. We're going to come in behind the headquarters here, in behind the, what is this thing even called here? Oh, it is a headquarters. Okay, so we're going to come in behind. Now, you'll notice that one rocket launcher is the most important one that ranges the furthest, so it is going to be a problem. Can't really decide if it's worth. I don't ever want to recommend people going back on their fifth attack with all this stuff at the beach, because it's not a good idea. You'll get absolutely wrecked and you'll blame me and be angry, and failing War Factory is never a good time. We've only got one attack left, so might be better off just clearing as far into the right as you can and losing lots and lots of troops and barraging that rocket launcher, because otherwise it's going to be problematic for sure. Let's see how much health is on here. 513,000. I am going to leave my rifles at home. We are not going to use our rifles because they're going to walk different speeds than zookas, and I never recommend doing different speeds than zookas because else they're going to unload at different speeds. And the number, oops, I just said I wasn't going to do it, and then I did it by accident trying to drop my hero. So the most often mistakes I see, people go into start doing operation attacks, and they start out by using heavy Zooka, thinking that heavy Zooka is going to be stronger than just Zookas, and as a result, it means that you have troops that are walking at two different speeds, and when you have troops walking at two different speeds, bad things happen. So I don't recommend that at all. So now that we're against this back wall, we're going to have a little bit of leeway for a second or two. Those rifles are actually going to be a little bit helpful. They're going to get shot in the face for a couple seconds, and then as they work their way towards the core, I'm going to shock that rocket launcher. I am not going to flare anything. By having our troops clearing back there, we're going to end up with an extra shock right about now, which is going to give us a little bit extra leeway. Now, those rifles are very likely putting themselves in harm's way, and so I'm actually going to throw an artillery on top of them, hoping that that rocket launcher does not range all of our Zookas as a result. So don't bring rifles. Rifles, as you can see there, our Zookas do outrange that rocket launcher barely, so you might actually consider only bringing 4 or 5 boats, because the more boats you bring, the more they're going to push forwards. And you can also throw smoke in front of your troops instead of artillerying them. But if you're worried about if they're going to be encroaching on the HQ, just throw an artillery on them. It seems crazy, but it works very well on operation attacks and War Factory at times. So War Factory down in 4 very easy attacks. I'm going to switch it up and we'll go right with a max level account. Stick around, back in a second. Okay, here goes nothing. What troops do we have loaded? We're going to load up something other than what we've got. Sure, PSC life. There are no grapplers that I remember seeing, so we're going to bring in some medics. We're going to bring in some, let's bring some friendly neighborhood bombardiers. We're going to get rid of 1 extra boat of rifles. I don't think we need that many rifles. And let's just see which ability we have. We got Critter Swarm. Good enough. Let's just go to the right and see what happens. I think this is going to work fairly well, but it's all just me visualizing and preparing and all that sort of mumbo jumbo. So we're going to head to the right. Everspark's going to help us out. Medics are going to help when we get close to those rockets. Rifles are going to get shot in the face. Everspark's going to spawn critters, and Cryoneers are going to slow down all of the things. So if you've never used rifle Cryo Zooka Medic, it's a great combo. Also works out well when you mix in a few of the Bombardier dudes. Now, the reason why I'm going like this is because there are no grapplers anywhere in sight. Typically, I don't bring medics on War Factory because medics aren't really required, but also because there's grapplers that pull them across and then bad things happen. So as you can see here, we have lost, I think, 3 rifles at this point. All of the critters staying ahead of the troops, the Cryoneers just slowing everything down. Now, I don't typically use walking troops that don't use smoke or don't require smoke, but in this instance, we're just going to cruise through all of this. Very strong composition. Not something I ever recommend for operations, but for what it is, this is a great troop combo. And that Doom Cannon is now down, and as a result, we can just cruise through all of this goodness. Obviously, that laser is going to be a bit of a pain, so you know what? Let's just get rid of that. Obviously, I just said obviously twice in a row. We don't have the barrage tribe anymore, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad, but we should still be able to cruise through all of this stuff. Now, once we get close to those rocket launchers, it's going to be dicey for certain. I mean, you could retreat right now because we've cleared all sorts of stuff, but I'm not going to go that road. We're just going to keep pushing through and just see how far into this stuff we can get. Obviously, we're going to need to get some GBE out here, shocking some more things. I was really hoping we could get that hot pot down before we got there. Looks like that's not going to be the case, though. And so, look at that. Our zookas are just getting absolutely ruined close to that hot pot. Need to throw one more shock out there, and we shocked it down. Not awesome. So, I'm in trouble at this point. We can't do anything about that hot pot, and so I'm just going to let them wander off to that right-hand side. Should have flared the hot pot while it was up, probably, and as a result, we're just going to get pummeled by all of the things. Thankfully, Everspark is throwing some critters its way, and now we are done like dinner. So, I mean, maybe we could, like, sneak back into here. Um, our bombardiers are still alive and kicking. Two of them have full health, one has nearly full health, and I gotta say, I am somewhat impressed in the fact that they are glass cannons. They do not have a lot of health, and they are doing fairly all right, getting good grades, and they're only getting deader. Okay, so there we go. That's the end of that. Waiting for Everspark to die so that retreating will be much faster. Cleared that entire right side using rifles and zookas and things. Um, is that the right way to go about things? Not entirely sure, but for lower levels or people who aren't comfortable with smoke, seems very viable. And all you have to do is just get in behind the headquarters at this point. We're using a lot of different troops, which brings me to the fact that this Mega Crab has troop mania over it. So if you've never had troop mania, it means that every troop is 90% off its training cost, which means that I would highly recommend in your task force, get your diamonds. Collect diamonds for the rest of the month. Get as many diamonds as you can, especially if you don't have instant training, because there's going to be all sorts of goodness available for people who don't have instant training and have diamonds available. So your task force should be giving you somewhere in the neighborhood of 25, 27, 28, 29 diamonds every single day. I highly recommend you start stockpiling those diamonds because there's a lot of great things that can come from them with this Mega Crab. So I'm not entirely sure that going this right-hand side without worrying about those rocket launchers was the right call, but eventually we're going to be able to get in behind that core. Rifles getting absolutely destroyed by all of the microwavers, so probably not the right choice to bring rifles against all of those microwavers, but we're still cruising along here, getting into this back spot and probably going to be able to take this down. Not entirely sure. Let's throw some critters over here just to distract some things. All of our bombardiers throwing on that headquarters. Our Zookas also there. Medics still in there, though. I mean, look at this. The medics are actually out healing those rocket launchers while the critters are out there, but without critters, they're just getting pummeled. So let's throw one med kit, see if we can't finish it off in our second attack. Not the ideal way to do War Factory, I would say for sure, because as you saw, we lost a ton of troops compared to our low level. Come on. Down go all of the troops. That's a dramatic ending, I would say. So no troops left. War Factory down in 2 silly hits with no smoke, and I think very minimal flares. Let's pause, do it one more time, just because I want to try something different and silly. Back in a sec. Okay, coming in here, we are going to load all Scorchers, just because I am curious to see. Now, obviously, or not, I keep saying obviously, it's not obvious. Nothing is obvious. Common sense is not common. Just throw all of your artillery, all of your barrage on the headquarters if you're a high level, and you can very likely take it down in 5 attacks. Obviously, that depends on your statues. Obviously is the word of the day, it seems. So I'm going to do my best to not say obviously for the rest of the week. If you catch me, do hit me up in the comments. Throw a donkey or a something comment in the comments if you catch me saying obviously from here on out. Let's go. I think we can just cruise in here. I don't know what else is required, but I think we can just cruise on in here. We're going to get all of this stuff into here. Now, we just ran out of GBE, which is not super duper awesome, but we should be able to just cruise in here. I'm going to use the rest of my GBE on a taunt just because that should keep the shock launchers from actually firing, which will give our, what are those things called? Give our Scorchers a chance to burn things, and then we're just going to head in behind. I'm probably going to waste a ton of gold doing this, but I think it's worthwhile just because it's absolutely ridiculous. And 16 Scorchers, not that we have 16 Scorchers dropped. I think we have 12 dropped, um, are just so strong. Let's get going, get back into here. Bullet is going to fall behind is part of the problem. Need to use Shock Knuckles with Bullet, otherwise he just doesn't get out in front, which means that he doesn't do the damage that we would like him to do. And now, should I be flaring the core? Probably would be a good idea, probably would not hurt whatsoever, but we're just going to keep cruising along with all of our Scorcher buddies here and hope that we can get all of this stuff down because we don't have enough GBE to do anything else. Look at this. Scorchers coming in hot. Scorchers versus Microwavers. Scorchers versus Boom Cannons. Unboosted all Scorcher solo, maybe? We don't have a lot of troops left. What do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Scorchers, and they're just going to go wandering. This is the thing about Scorchers. They're going to sit there. Once it starts on fire, they're going to go look for something else. So Bullet is probably going to pull through as the MVP for us here. Let's throw some gunboat energy onto those Microwavers, hoping to get them down before our troops blow up. Heat versus heat, fire versus fire. Bullet is going to be boss here. I mean, this is going to be an ugly finish. It's going to take probably the rest of the duration. So we're just going to sit here for a sec. There goes that Microwaver. Can't bring my Scorcher back, so it's going to be all Bullet versus HQ. Not exciting at all. 1 minute 50 seconds. We're going to quickly go something like this, and we'll just skip to the end bit. Okay, looks like we are in fact going to be able to solo this using Bullet's ability. Now, one thing that's great about Bullet is the more damage he takes, the faster he shoots, the more damage he gives. So the fact that those ranged rocket launchers were actually shooting him in the face was actually a benefit. Kind of surprised that we managed to take all of that stuff down. There were like 4 boom cannons, 2 shock launchers, a bunch of cannons and flotsams and stuff. So all Scorcher solo, unboosted. Obviously, we lost. Oh, man, caught myself there. Lost a whole bunch of troops there, lost a whole bunch of gold. But you know what? That is part of the game. And just using gold to have a little bit of extra fun. Check it out. This account actually has some powder. The other one has 0. So I have swapped accounts. We are looking for a beast player in Triangle 9. We are doing Forlorn Hope daily, and as you can see here, it's going very well, but we need another attacker. So if you are ready for Forlorn Hope, if you are XP, say 60 or higher, maybe 58 or higher, and you have 8, 9, 10, 11 offensive statues, please do consider joining. We are somewhat desperate. We have all sorts of feeder task forces, but we find that on occasion people end up getting comfortable in our feeder task forces and not moving up. So that is the situation we're in right now. So if you're in one of our lower level task forces, do consider moving up. It helps everyone below you, and we have no shortage of low level players. So step up, be a beast. We don't care if you fail, do well, whatever, as long as you are ready to chat and learn and listen and teach as well. I mean, if you are better than us, do come join as well. All the more fun. Anyways, as always, I am zmoT. Thank you for coming in. Have a fantastic Thursday. Thanks to all of you who waited and used this as your inspiration or your attack guide. I shall talk to you later. Thanks for coming in. Peace.